Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Huffoto Presents podcast. My name is Brian Huff, and today's episode is going to be with Jamey Nunley from the Tupelo Con in Tupelo, Mississippi, and we're going to discuss what's going to be going on down there for the 2024 Comic-Con and a bunch of other things that we hope you find interesting. So, welcome to the first episode of the podcast. We hope to have many more. We will have many more episodes coming your way and many interesting guests from in and around the cosplay and pop culture scene. This podcast is accompanying Huffoto Presents, the magazine. The first issue for January is now available, and you can buy those at huffoto.magcloud.com or just go to Huffoto, Huffoto.com, and you can find links to all of our information, the Comic-Cons where we're going to be at in 2024, and much more. So looking forward to hearing from you guys, and check out that website. Send us a message. Let us know what you're interested in and what you think would be good subjects for us to cover in the podcast and magazines. And I'm looking forward to hearing from you guys. So without further ado, here we go. Welcome to episode 1 of Huffoto Presents, the podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the... I'm going to say welcome back. Welcome to Huffoto Presents, the podcast. We're trying this again, folks. The first recording wasn't great.
Remix.
Yeah, so here we go. My name is Brian Huff, and I'm here today with Jamey Nunley.
Howdy, everybody.
How's it going, man? Let's do this again.
Let's go.
So nice, we'll say it twice. So Jamey is with the Tupelo Con, and you guys, I'm sure if you're familiar with it, know how awesome it is every year. If you're not familiar with it, this is the year to go, folks. There's some awesome stuff happening.
Oh yeah, come check it out.
So how's it been going?
Oh, it's been going. We're getting everything wrapped up and rolling. We've got most of our guests signed. We just got to get the announcements and images and stuff up and ready to go. And we're trying to square away another one or two. As soon as those contracts come back, we'll get those lined up.
Awesome. I like how you guys do the little reveals on social media, and they're grayed out, and people have to try to guess who they are.
Oh yeah. we want them to be obvious enough that it's not... Oh, Robert Downey Jr. is coming to Tupelo Con.
Right.
You know, we've had that happen once or twice where somebody throws out an A-lister name that would be in the hundreds of thousands of dollars that we couldn't afford, and I'm like, oh, that's not that great. Maybe I should do something different. But
right.
Most of the time, people can figure them out pretty well. But it's fun. It's fun. Everybody knows who's that Pokemon from the old Pokemon cartoons.
I see, and it's funny because I'm the guy in the memes that gets it wrong.
It's Pikachu.
Oh, man. So I know I'm super excited for it. You guys have got a lot of stuff going on as far as activities and games for this year. And...
Right. Yeah, one of my big words for the con is balance. So many cons focus so much on the guests or the vendors, but they forget to focus on the activities and what people can actually do at the show.
Right.
So one of the things that we're bringing in this year is battle pods. And so what the battle pods are, it's like a simulator to operate the cockpit for a giant battle Gundam.
Oh, wow.
Right. So you get inside the battle pod and you're inside of a simulator, so you can actually fight one of the other 3 people. They're bringing 4 pods, and it's absolutely free for the attendees. We went ahead and bought the big package so people can come and play through these battle pods throughout the day. But you can get inside the battle pod, and it's like you're operating inside the cockpit and you're fighting the other 3 individuals who are also in the cockpit.
So you're actually networked together.
Yes.
Fighting each
From
other.
my understanding, they're all system linked.
Oh, wow.
So that was one of the big advantages to them, is that they were designed to combat with each other. And so they were built in the 90s. It's not some new VR thing you're getting in. So you'll know to keep an eye open for that type of stuff. It's not picking you up and shaking you around or anything like that. So it's still
Right.
safe for kids. It's a little advanced for kids because it is supposed to be more realistic cockpit type of controls.
Right.
But I've played in it before. They had them at Dragon Con in Atlanta, and I remember seeing them. One of our volunteers actually asked and found their email and reached out to them, and so we went ahead and added that to the show.
Man, that's awesome.
Oh yeah.
So the balloon guy's also going to be there, I guess, making something giant this year.
Yes. So Bruce Carr, our balloon guy, he is actually going to be working on a world record attempt. So he's looking at doing it's more than 100 feet tall even. It's supposed to
Wow.
be I can't remember what the exact height was, but he's going for the world record of the tallest balloon costume. And so there's already a record out. I think a Pikachu is the current record for the balloon costume, but he has to build it and then actually puppeteer it from the inside as a costume.
Wow.
And so I think he's going for a giant Bowser, but we're working on the logistics behind that right now. But yeah, it's already been approved by Guinness Book of World Records. We've got to film everything from start to finish, have reputable officials for witnesses signing
Right.
a bunch of papers saying that they witnessed everything, and we've got to send everything into them and wait for them to give us the thumbs up or the thumbs down. But he's going to be making the attempt at Tupelo Con and building the giant creation.
Man, that's really going to be something to see.
Oh,
I mean, I remember last year's the Gyarados, the shiny Gyarados that they puppeteered around. I don't even remember how many people.
Yeah. I think it was like 5 or 6 doing it Chinese dragon style around the con. So it was great.
How awesome would it be to have something like that for a parade?
Oh, it would be amazing. We've talked about it before. We've talked about doing it for one of the Christmas parades. Temperature is a really big factor for the balloons. If it's too hot, they pop. If it's too cold, then they shrivel up really quickly. So I think that was one of the big factors against us doing it at the Christmas parade, because we never know if it's going to be freezing or
no,
if
you
it's
never
gonna
know.
Be normal temperatures, like a normal person's fall or
you don't know if it's going to be snow or tornadoes.
right. You just never know. So I think that's what's stopped us before, but we've definitely talked about doing a couple parades.
That's so cool. I know I always enjoy watching him, and it just amazes me how he can just take balloons and make all this stuff and has the vision to be able to put all that together.
Right. He does really well with details. So he has a partner that's coming in with him to do the world record attempt. The partner is really good at super fast balloons. Bruce is really good at super detail. And they make a good team, especially with the large creations, because Bruce will go super detailed and make a leg, and then he'll let the partner make a copy of the leg so he can make it faster, but he doesn't have the creativity.
I couldn't be that partner because I would have 2 left arms and 2 left feet.
Oh yeah, it'd be 2 of the exact same things.
I couldn't build Legos in my house because all of my stuff, I think I'm dyslexic. My wife and kids would be amazed at how I could put things together, and they're like, "You literally did this backwards." So anyway, but I'm really looking forward to seeing all the cosplays that come out this year. I know there's going to be tons of them. There are every year. I mean, it's Tupelo Con is probably our biggest convention as far as cosplays, so it's always so amazing to see all the stuff people build. I know last year I think was one of the biggest ones I'd seen, with the mechanical wings.
Oh yeah,
that person had that were battery powered, that actually came out on their own, and she had a car battery on the back of that thing.
I've always been impressed with how, the word I'm looking for is ingenuity, but in the right context, how ingenious some of the creativity aspects for people bringing these things to life. My favorite
ones is when they really embody the character, and one of my favorite things now as a photographer, and how I know when I'm onto something,
is they'll come into the booth to get their photos done, and they're fully embodied in character,
Right.
and then they see the photo pop up, and it completely breaks them out of character.
Right.
And I'm like, yes, it's my new favorite thing is breaking character. But
right. Well, play is an important part of cosplay.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's not just costuming; it's cosplay for a reason.
Right. And that's another thing too, thinking about how this gives kids a chance to be kids, and honestly too, it gives us grown-ups a chance to be kids again.
Right.
I mean, that's the whole thing. So any of you kids out there listening, and people say, you know, you have to grow up, it's a trap. Don't do it. You don't have to grow up. We're proof.
Maturity is a
it's overrated,
categorized thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I pay my taxes. Like,
oh yeah, of course. I mean, there's a time and place.
Right.
I have accountants for that.
Yeah. I take care of my bills. I'm
Yeah.
still gonna play video games, but
Right. But I think too, giving people, especially, I mean, I fall into this category, is having a creative outlet.
oh yeah,
Is really important too, I think, into something that doesn't get talked about, and that's mental health. And I think the community and all the support people get, I think the conventions are just so positive.
oh yeah,
And I mean, I'm sure there's stories out there, but I know personally, I've just seen nothing but positive. Especially when the kids come in, they see their favorite superhero, or even their favorite villain. You know,
Right.
I mean.
that was actually one of the reasons why I started the con. I was in a depression.
Okay.
And I started looking on some YouTube, because when you don't know how to solve something, you go to YouTube.
Absolutely.
So went on YouTube, was watching several life coaches, and one of them was talking about every time, because it was over an ex. It had been about a year, and I still wasn't completely over it. And I'm
Right.
like, this is a little pathetic. What's the answer to get over this person? So looked on, and they're like, every time you think of this individual, find your productive hobby, drop what you're doing, and start working on that productive hobby every time you think of this individual. So I ended up picking the con. So we built a convention. Every time I thought of this individual, I'd drop what I was doing and start working on emails, or start watching YouTube videos, or start talking to a special guest agent about their experiences, what they know from cons, trying to fill in the missing links that I didn't have that experience with.
Right.
And a year and a half later, we had the first con.
Yeah, and I mean, there's so much behind the scenes, and
Oh, yeah.
what you just said, a year and a half later.
Yes.
So it wasn't like, I'm going to make a Comic-Con and a month later. Like, no.
I've seen shows where that's happened, and it takes at least 6 months to run a good show.
Right.
At least 6 months. And that's not even including the advertising time period.
Yeah. I mean, because in this day and age, you've got to get in front of people.
Oh, yeah.
And we're so busy.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's so busy. It's so easy to forget. What's this weekend? What's going on this weekend? Or we do have, and it's just, it's insane.
You had me scared, because I've had that mini panic attack. Everything, you're like, what's this weekend? I'm like, oh snap, something's this weekend. What was I supposed to do this weekend?
No, there is a con this weekend that I'm actually going to for fun.
Oh,
I'm not working it.
it's so hard for me to find cons
I
to go to for
don't
fun.
know what I'm going to do, honestly, other than I am bringing my camera.
Nice.
I mean, I know I wouldn't, if I showed up anywhere without a camera, I would be so lost.
I think my next con is Corinth.
Yep. That's our
my
next
next con
one
is
that we're
Corinth.
setting up. We're going to be set up at Corinth Con on January 20th. So we're super pumped about that one.
Oh yeah.
They've changed up a little bit of how the cosplay's working. I think they're focusing more on craftsmanship.
Oh, okay.
So I think they just posted all the stuff on social media, how all that's going to break down and how the judging's going to work. So give people plenty of time to plan out for that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. I think they said something about they're having battle bots.
Oh
Yeah.
yes, that's one of
So-
the individuals I'm planning on going down there to bump some elbows with.
Yeah, I mean,
Because we've tried BattleBots before. We had a guy from Huntsville that was going to become and do BattleBots, and we were talking about trying to set up a BattleBots tournament at the event.
oh,
The guy's main goal is to increase the BattleBots community. So one of the things he was looking at trying to do, which this was pre-COVID, I lost contacts with him
Right.
after COVID, but his main thing was he was trying to build little starter kits so that people could buy the starter kits to get into BattleBots.
So years ago, now I mean years ago, when my oldest son, who's 26 now, was really young, we went to a Big Lots, I think it was. And this was when BattleBots was on the way out of being popular.
Yeah, yeah.
And we bought the big, like, they were like a foot across kits to build remote control BattleBots. And they had them on clearance for like, they were normally like $100 and they had them for like $20. So we bought one of every one of them and built them. And we have a... We're such nerds. We had this big paved area behind our house in the backyard. It was a basketball court.
Yeah.
And we would go back there and we demolished those things.
Beautiful.
But yeah, it was so fun. I loved that. It was so sad to hear this Grant Imahara. He was one of the founders of the original BattleBots.
Oh, wow.
I believe in the show. He was on Mythbusters.
Oh,
and he was, I think, was one of the original like competitive people in the BattleBots community. He'd passed away years ago. Super young guy. Super young. That was really sad. But yeah, we love BattleBots. I'm excited to see that and see what all goes on. I'm excited that's coming back. Robotics, that's a big deal, man. All this AI and stuff coming on.
Yeah, one of my partners is an engineer, and that's what he works on is robots.
Yeah.
Mostly for industrial side of things.
I have a good friend of mine that works at Boston Dynamics.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not in where the robots are at. I believe he's out in another department and everything. But I'm like, it's so cool, man. You're right there where these guys are being built.
Right. I kind of want to get the BattleBots just so that I can get my engineering buddy into it, because I know he'd go crazy for it. He needs another nerdy hobby.
And talk about something there, and this ties in education.
Oh yeah,
because man, you're starting to talk about coding and building and engineering and all this stuff that, you know, I know kids don't want to hear me talk about school, but the awesome thing is you can learn so much more playing.
Oh yeah.
You know, I used to have a game store before COVID, and it was amazing to watch kids' math and reading skills go up from playing D&D and Magic the Gathering.
Oh, yeah.
Because they didn't realize all the skills they were being subjected to. They're having a blast.
Yeah, you pick things up. You got to think ahead. You got to, map things out.
So strategic, man.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody knows that if you read more books, you get smarter.
Yeah,
it's
funny how that works.
It's the same idea, you know. The more you use these numbers, the better you get at them.
Right. And that's, I've noticed, it's funny because I noticed now, I'm about to turn 50, and I'm better at math now than I ever was in school. I don't know, you know, what happened. Did I not have the teachers maybe didn't know how I learned? Because another thing too, we all learn different. And I think as a society, everybody's figuring that out a little bit better now. And I found out young that it's funny, I'm a photographer, but I'm not a visual learner. I'm a very audible learner. And so I listen to audiobooks and stuff like that, and I can remember things and recall things. And the YouTube, though, once again, that's a big thing for me. Like you talked about going back to learning new stuff. All kinds of YouTube.
Yeah.
So $25 a weekend, is that what the ticket?
Yes, it's $25 for the weekend. With that, you get entry to everything. The only thing that it doesn't really get you into is the wrestling event that happens that night.
Okay.
But you get the battle pods, you get to go into that for free. We got the vendors hall, we got the special guests, which the special guests are selling their autographs and stuff like that.
Right.
But there's no cost to go and meet them if you just need to say hi, go to any of their panels, anything like that. So we're working on several more activities like that. So we had a zombie shooting range one year. We had some airsoft rifles that we had set up a shooting range that would catch all the BBs and stuff like that. And had some styrofoam mannequin heads that we had done up like zombies. And so we're looking at bringing that back this year. We haven't had it the last 2 years. Have a volunteer that I'm looking at heading over that project. So it's another one of the things that we're looking at doing. And it would be another free activity. We try to get as many free activities and stuff as we can because special guests are great. Vendors are great. But once you've seen your special guest and you've walked through the vendor's hall, I'm all
Right.
about that balance. So I want there to be things that people can do and experience beyond just what you can see.
Right. That's awesome. I
So
love that.
we're bringing Samurai Dan back. He teaches samurai lessons, the art of the sword, and
Right.
all that fun stuff. So he'll be back there teaching more swordsmanship lessons and all kinds of fun stuff. So
I went to a Renaissance fair for the first time last year.
I love Ren
The
fairs.
one to the one in Nashville, and dude, that I can see where that's a whole new level of addiction.
It is. So I've been to Ren fairs. That's one of the things that I want the con to do more stuff.
Right.
Ren fairs have 100% sold into that time period.
Yep.
And in the same sense that cosplay, they become that individual.
Right.
And so even their stalls, their sellers, everybody gets into it. Vendors from Renaissance festivals and Ren fairs make amazing vendors.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to pull some of them.
That's what I know.
into
Is just
our
walking
lane.
around and talking to people, and of course, sadly, I was dressed as a time traveler from 2023 and covered in my cameras, but because what else am I going to do?
Right.
But my two sons went full on 1600s. Like they went,
Oh, yeah.
they went pretty deep into it, and they had a blast.
Oh, it's great.
So much so is like we were talking about 2024. My wife was like, "We're going back. We're not going back as time travelers. We're going back." And I was like, "Hey, as long as I get my turkey leg, I'm good."
Right. Most definitely.
Oh man.
We're working on our cosplay contest. We're really working on beefing up the price support
Mhm.
for our cosplay contest. I mentioned an idea that I had earlier. We'll
Yep.
talk some more about
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
But one of the great things about the cosplay community is that the cosplay community, while they're attendees, they're also guests.
Oh yeah.
The cosplayers, they show up and people like to see other people in cosplay. That's one of the big things is, hey, can I have a photo with you?
Right.
Hey, can I get your picture? And stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
encouraging more cosplay at the show is definitely something that we're looking at trying to push into. And I think through the cosplay contest is one of the easy ways for us to do it.
Right.
Our ticket price is already so low; it's hard for me to come off more
Yeah.
of that.
Right.
You know, we're not.
Well, I mean,
Nobody's
there's
getting
so
rich on
many,
cons.
there's so many expenses that everything has gotten so incredibly
yeah.
expensive. So the fact that you can spend $25 and have a whole weekend's full of entertainment to go do.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can't do anything for $25.
No,
I don't
not
think
at
you
all.
can see a movie for $25.
Right. Well,
That's 2 hours.
Pre-COVID, we were $25 for one day.
Wow.
And so pre-COVID, I think it was $35, $40 for the weekend.
Right.
And so after COVID and everything went down, people are struggling. Not everybody's been working and all that kind of fun stuff. We're like, look, let's drop it down to a one-day price and just make it good for everybody. And it stuck. We want this to be accessible to as
Right.
many people as possible.
And going back to talking about the cosplay community, I mean, that's been something that I've been amazed by is the cosplayers that do guest and they show up and they answer questions and they have panels and they direct on how to do things and all this different stuff. And it's just so amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I was at a sort of an impromptu sort of thing up in Haywood County. They had in Brownsville, Tennessee, it was sort of a meet a cosplayer day that they had at their welcome center, and I went up there
Nice.
for that, and it was really cool. And we just hung out, met people, answered questions. It was just a one-day thing, just basically like, and people showing up that there were two people there that just like me had just been to a Renaissance fair,
Yeah.
never been to one, and now they were head to toe, full-blown period clothing, like perfect, like they just fell out of a time machine. And then we had another person that stands out in my mind. She just got into cosplay, and her mom, completely new to it and everything, wanted to know And she was like, what can I do to support my daughter in this? Because she loves it. And I'm like, you're here. I'm like, you've already got Mom of the Year. Okay.
Right.
I was like, supporting her and letting her do this and have a creative outlet and express herself and show her love for these characters and these shows that she loves and the books and everything else. I'm like, you can't ask for any more than that.
Right. I think the only thing I'd add is see if she wants to try and get a costume herself.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, that's where I see that. It's not just
kids.
That's where I see that head. And I think I even mentioned to her something about, this isn't just for kids.
Right.
The two other folks that are here that are dressed up, I was like, they're on up there like me. So
yeah, my parents had never been to a convention until I got them to come to Tupelo, and after they went to Tupelo, they went on a small explosion. Like they went to Dragon Con.
I want to go to Dragon Con really, really badly.
Oh yeah, they got a hotel. The whole freaking
I keep
family
hearing
went.
Stories, man. I'm like, God, it sounds so amazing.
It's a big show.
Right.
Just go in expecting it to be a very big show with lots and lots of people.
Man. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate you coming out today and recording with us and getting this first episode down. And Tupelo Con, March the 16th and 17th, 2024.
Yes, sir.
All right. Be at the Tupelo Furniture. It's
the Tupelo Furniture Market, Building 5.
Building 5. All right. Appreciate it, Jamey.
Hey,
and all you guys out there listening, thank you so much. And join us on the next one.